On social media everywhere, you see videos of high value men. What it means to be high value, what are the attributes, what it takes, the steps to be high value men. But they never talk about what it means to be a low value man. And in this video, that's what I'm gonna go over. Low value men, they are a liability to everyone but themselves. They take more than they actually give or they can produce. When I talk about value, I'm not talking about a person's intrinsic value. I'm talking about value based off skills or attributes where they can provide or give, where they can make the community better, or they can make their family better, or they can make the people around them just become better people overall. Like, what are you doing? What are you giving? What are you producing to make this place better? Now, when it comes to skills or attributes, no one ever looks up at a low value person and says, hey, I want to be like that person. No, low value people, they just go about their lives living day to day, and then they eventually just die, man. They eventually die without ever really contributing to society, to making this place better for everyone. Like, they leave nothing behind, and all they did in their life was just take. Like, I know what it means to be low value. Like, I ended up going to prison. One of the things is, don't go to prison, don't go to jail. When you go to jail, you literally lose everything. So I understand what it means. I had $300 in my pocket. I was sleeping on someone's sofa. Like, this video isn't to shame anyone. This video isn't to put anyone down, but just to shed some light on maybe some of the things that you have going on in your life, and just try to make you better. Maybe to even inspire you, maybe even to motivate you, or maybe even sending this video to you, to someone that you know has the talent and the capabilities to make more of their life, and they're just not willing to put themselves there in that fire. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're that person that can push them there, or maybe you're that person that's in this spot right now, and you're seeing some of the signs here in this video, and you're like, you know what? I need change. Let's go. Like, there's a light bulb that just went bing. So let's get right into it, all right? Number one is being at the bottom 25 percentile of income earners. Now, I know that sounds very materialistic. It's just the way society works, though. Society bases your value based on how much you can produce, how much skills you have, the value market deems valuable. And if you're at the bottom and you're 25% percentile or lower, then you're considered a low value man. Low value men, they just don't have any money, and they just don't know how to make money, and they're unwilling to go out there and work hard to make that money. Some guys out there, they can't even support themselves. And I know it could be a number of factors where they're in that position right now, but low value men, they're okay being at that position. They're okay being at the bottom, just dwelling there in life, without ever trying to come up with a plan to get out of there, to propel themselves into the next bracket of higher income. Some are okay just being on welfare and just being stuck there for the rest of their lives. Like, you're okay being at the bottom and just always surviving as opposed to living. And when they actually get some money, they never have it. It ends up just disappearing. They go buy some lottery tickets. They go spend it on a trip. They spend it on the most ridiculous things as opposed to learning how to double it, maybe investing it or saving it for something more, having a game plan and putting it towards that to actually get out of that bracket. You got to remember, there is no nobility in poverty, but there is nobility in discipline, in hard work and ambition. So if you're at the 25% like income and earnings, figure out a way how to make more money. Go to school, get an education, go learn a trade. You know, the one thing I always tell people, if you don't have a job and you're looking for a job, one of the most important things is to just reach out to your network. Reach out to all your peoples. It can be an acquaintance, it could be a family friend, anyone. Go through your Rolodex of phone numbers in your phone book. Ask everyone, hey, is your job hiring? Do you know of any place that's hiring? Reach out to them. Your network is your net worth. That's why it's so important to build that community. Number two, unhealthy and weak men. They are both mentally and physically weak. Now, this has nothing to do with genetics. It has more to do with effort. Even if you're the ugliest freaking man in the world, if you put some effort into getting into better shape, you automatically level up automatically. You can be healthier, you can get into shape, you can be fit, and then on top of that, by being physically in shape, it automatically affects your mind. You're able to think sharper, you're having a clear mind, and you can be focused. Low value men choose to be unhealthy, and your body is a reflection of who you are. We are based on our looks. I know it sounds very superficial, but this world is superficial. So wake up to it. Either you get hip, you get into shape, you get healthy, or you get left behind in the dust and you're just viewed as a low tier, low bottom person, a person of low value. The crazy thing about this is that taking care of yourself is the bare minimum. Like, that's just the adult thing to do, to be healthy, to stay in shape, to be mentally strong. Like, low value men, they don't read. They don't try to get better physically and mentally. They just like, hey, you know what? I'm here. I'm just going to keep stuffing my face with no regards to the health whatsoever. You got to remember, the body and the mind, it never forgets. So what you do today in your body will show up later in the future. Here's the thing. Nobody is born a low value man. You become one by laziness and the choices you make. A low value man is abusive and controlling. They're emotionally abusive and they're manipulative as F. They typically try to find someone that's weaker than them and then they just prey on them. They use their power to go ahead and just control this person. And when they no longer are able to control the person, what do? They explode with all their insecurities. They threaten them with violence because that little power that they have over someone is being lost. They're scared that they're going to be abandoned and they're going to be alone with no one to control because they can't even control themselves. Like, you ever seen those guys where they get with a girl and then it's kind of like the vibe of, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. Like, you got to think of it in a very wide societal norm perspective. How crazy does that sound? This person is willing to go to the ends of the world to just maintain that control over this person. Think about it. Do you really want to be around people that are impulsive like that? Men of this nature, they're usually a product of their environment. They usually come from a broken, traumatic background, and they never really worked through the problems as an adult. And that's why they don't know how to go forward in life, knowing how to regulate their emotions and their feelings and their actions. They're just very impulsive. Whatever's in their brain, boom, they just act. Now, I get it. There's some situations where it calls for something like that to go to the far ends of life and willing to stand 10 toes in what you believe in. But people that do this on purpose, where they are trying to control and they're trying to manipulate and they just don't know how to regulate what's inside here and in here, and especially this, you really got to watch out for those type of guys, because that's what a low value man is right there. Low intelligence, low emotional intelligence, and zero personality. These type of guys, they have an IQ of a freaking rock. Don't get it twisted though. There's a lot of guys that are dumber than a bag of rocks, but they have been able to achieve great success. And here's the thing, someone that's very empathetic, someone that has a great personality, that actually means so much more than someone that can actually solve a very complex question. A low value man, they just suck at all three things: being book smart, having emotional intelligence, and also having personality. They just suck at all three across the board. They find it hard to focus. They can't read a book for no longer than 2 pages. Low value men, they find it very difficult to relate to another human being on an emotional level. A good clue to know someone doesn't have good personality and like isn't emotionally intelligent, like they just can't read the room, they are always someone's plus one. They never really get invited directly to go to an event, but they're only at the event because someone else invited them. If their friend didn't invite that person, they would never have been to the party. And usually people like this, they're just bad company. They're boring to talk to. They never do anything interesting. They don't know how to talk about anything because they don't do anything. And nobody wants to be around them. Lazy, unmotivated and a burden to someone. You see them do nothing and they're just kind of passive in life. They're waiting for life to happen to them as opposed to getting up and making life happen for them. Usually guys like that, they're just kind of content with just living life and letting life just pass on by. Here's a good clue. Someone that asks to borrow money, and it's usually some type of life or death situation. They make it like this big dramatic event, and that's why they need to borrow money. But in reality, they're just spending that money on junk. They're spending it on chasing girls. They're spending it on alcohol. They're spending it on the quick dopamine fix because that's how they live life. Day to day without no plans, and they're just okay living like that. They're usually pros at wasting time too. They haven't read a book. The last time they read one was in high school because they were forced to, as opposed to, hey, I want to. And here's the funny thing about it. Usually guys like that, they've watched 1,000 episodes of anime, 10,000 hours of video games, playing games online. They screw up things even when things are given to them on a freaking platter. Somebody gets them a job and they get fired because they can't even do the bare minimum of that job. Unlucky man and someone that cannot catch a break. You hear it all the time. I'm gonna catch a lucky break, man. I'm gonna become a millionaire. Just watch. But for now, they need to borrow some money for gas. And sometimes when they do get that money, they lose it on betting of some sort. They can't seem to find a good woman. They tell you about what they're gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be a millionaire one day. Just watch. But fast forward, they've been at the exact same spot they've been at for the last 5 to 10 years. Low value men think they have potential, but in reality, they lack action. And that's why they consider themselves unlucky, because nothing good has came their way, as opposed to actually going out there and catching that. Luck actually happens the harder you work. The more you work, the harder you work, the more opportunity luck finds you. You'll never get lucky unless you open that door. And the more you work, the harder you work, the more that door opens and the more luck will come into your life. Envious and dishonesty. Low value men, they'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll stab their friends in their back, they'll waste their time, and they're just envious. They want what others have. They're not inspired by success. They're jealous and they're just resentful. People that are envious and dishonest will always try to bring people down to their level as well. You'll see them at the party, they just be sitting there just talking all this trash, as opposed to saying, dang, I don't know what it took for him to get there, but I want that. And I want to go over there and shake his hand and let him know that I'm inspired by him. Like low value men, they always want other people's times to serve their own interest because they're greedy, they're selfish, they're envious. They want what you have. And they're willing to do whatever it takes for them to succeed, even if that means stomping all over you. Always surrounded by other low value men. Like we all know the saying, man. You all know it. You are a reflection of the 5 closest people you hang around with. But the problem is everyone that you hang around with, nobody thinks that you guys are low value because you guys don't know any better. Do not invest in themselves. They fail to invest in themselves financially, in their education, in their health, in their looks. All these things play a factor in someone's success. And there is pretty privilege. Like, don't get it twisted. We live in a very superficial world where the prettier someone is, the better off their life would be. They get a lot of things handed to them. So even though you may not be born pretty, you can look decent by getting into shape, having a better mind. So when you have conversations with people, you're more social. You can relate and talk about different topics. Even leveling up your money, you can be around different social circles. If you're broke, you're typically gonna go to broke places. Who are gonna be at broke places? Other broke people. Low value men are stuck in the exact same place. Now let me break this down to you guys so you guys can better understand a bit. I made this video and it got a lot of controversy. And the video was titled, "The most consistent losers are at the gym." And what I mean by that is someone will go somewhere and get stuck in mediocrity. They go back to the same place, doing the exact same thing, expecting different results over and over and over. Like, what's the point of going to the gym if you're not going to be better? If you're not going to change your eating habits, you're not going to change your sleeping habits, you're not going to try to lift more weights or run that extra mile or maybe run it even faster. You know what that means? You're just complacent. You're stuck in the exact same place. And all it is you're just getting older every single day. Like, that video got so much heat But it makes so much sense if you really sit down and think about it. If you've been going to the gym and it's been 3 to 5 years and you're at the exact same place as you first started and you never had this crazy transformation, or your eating habits changed, or your sleeping habits changed, or working out has made you stop drinking, or made you eating out less, made you like stop spending money on junk food, then you are exactly like this right here. You are stuck in mediocrity. You are that exact same consistent loser going to the gym day after day. And this can go for anything in life, whether it's in relationships, it's in money, it's in conversation skills, it's in your education. Guess what? You're that consistent loser I'm talking about right now, bro. Open your eyes. You are someone of low value. Blame others and feel entitled to others. Have you ever known someone to continually blame things for their problems? It's the government's fault. Oh man, I wish, if my parents didn't do this. And oh man, it's this other guy's fault. At some point in your life, like you're gonna have to wake up and realize, like, hey, like all that stuff that happened before in my life or other things that's going on in the world, like you just couldn't control it. And at some point, you're gonna have to take control of yourself and stop blaming things that happened. Like there's gonna be an epiphany one day, and if that light bulb never pops up, they're just gonna continue to blame things in their life that they have no control over, as opposed to focusing on what they can control to change the certain outcome that they have right now. And then on top of that, they feel entitled to people's time and effort and energy. And when people don't sacrifice for them, they get angry, they get mad, they start to blame and yell other people for not making the sacrifice for them. Someone that escapes reality as opposed to facing life head on, they are someone of very low value. They try to escape their problems day after day through some form of addiction, whether it's alcohol, it's drugs, or they're trying to escape into some virtual reality, because only in that virtual reality life do they feel power, do they feel emboldened to live life. Someone that's always mad at the world. Have you seen someone that's constantly angry? They're angry at old people. They're angry at girls. They're angry at the government. They're angry at the politicians. In all reality, they're probably someone that has been hurt a lot and has been through a traumatic event in their life, and they haven't really healed from it. They haven't been able to resolve that issue and move forward with peace. Because strong men, masculine men, they bring peace and order to this world. They bring calmness, not chaos. The more that person digs deeper in themselves and they come to find, hey, I have a lot of problems, if they're unwilling to face them and make a change and tackle them head on, unfortunately, there's just no saving them. The only person that can save them is themselves. Is someone that's not masculine. Now, I know I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I know. But when we talk about being masculine, I'm talking about from the traditional sense. Someone that can provide, someone that can protect, someone that can raise strong kids, someone that is contributing to society, making it a better place. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a high value man and have all these attributes, but if you lack all of them, then you're just kind of screwed, bro. You need to work from the bottom and then work your way up. All right, here's a bonus guide right here for you guys. If you want to get out of this and you want to escape, then you need ownership, 100% ownership, 100% responsibility of where you are now. Where you are now is a reflection of all the past choices you made. That's just the way it works, man. Outside of all the drama you had, all the negative experiences you faced, like it doesn't matter what happened in the past. What matters is where you are now and the steps you're willing to do to go forward. All right, now that you understand what it means to be a low value man, here are some of the things I recommend you doing to getting yourself out of this position and into the next level of your life, man. Like you can really change your life in 6 months. Like 6 months, put down the phone, get off social media, start eating healthy, start reading books, go back to school, learn a trade, learn another language, Learn how to communicate, learn how to be empathetic. Just 6 months to lock in. And I love starting off with fitness. Fitness is usually the first step, because usually if you get into fitness, you see the quickest results, like the fastest, immediate change in your life. One, you start to look better, and when that happens, you start to feel better. When you start working out and you start becoming healthy, you start tracking your food, your brain releases all these like dopamines and all these chemicals, these feel good things in throughout your body, and that boosts up your confidence. And when you have higher confidence, there's a likely chance of you acting and performing in that exact same nature. You start to move with conviction. And that's the thing, like usually you hear it from all the experts: start working out, start getting into shape, because that's going to yield the fastest results. Now, don't neglect all the other things like leveling up in your income. That takes time. Like in 3 months, you can have a entire new physical outlook, like look on your body. But if you start to work on money, in 3 months, you won't get that far compared to your looks. That's why fitness is one of the first and foremost things when it comes to leveling up and getting out of the realm of a low value man. Next thing I would also recommend is getting a haircut every 2 weeks. Look very presentable. When you step outside that door, make sure you are your best version of yourself, whatever best is to you. People judge you based off your looks. Like that first appearance means everything, and you want to do your best to present your best foot forward. Next is reading. Get into reading. What I would suggest is the first one is the 48 Laws of Power. That one teaches you how to live life like a politician. You got to be sneaky in the way you talk to people and how you act and how you move. We always can't just blurt out what we're thinking, because people get offended. People are soft. People have feelings, man. And this is where emotional empathy comes into play. If you don't have like that emotional intelligence, you're just going to fail at life. The next book I would recommend is by David Goggins. It's called Can't Hurt Me. I love that book. It conditions you how to get out of the position you are in right now. Lastly, I would recommend you joining a community, something where you have interest in, like true interest in. From there, you can meet new people. You want to start surrounding yourself with, but you'll never know unless you put yourself out there. And that's the whole point, is taking that first step into becoming a better person, getting out of the position you are now at the bottom and getting to the next bracket of life. Hopefully this video helped you out, and if it did, let me know below what you learned. There's a comment section right there. I want to hear from you guys, man. I want to hear where you're at in life, what you learned, and what you're about to apply moving forward after watching this video, man. Until next time, I'll catch you guys. Peace.